You're pouring it away, Craig. Put your phone
Three,
down.
2, 1. Hi there, YouTube. I'm Craig. I'm here again with Bill and Antonio, and we are the Social Vultures. And again, continuing our little micro series, I guess, about what makes a movie special. Let's talk about the visuals.
We got sidetracked a little into TV.
A little bit. What makes? Yeah, you're right. Sorry, it should have been all about movies. But what makes the visuals special in a movie?
The talent of the director.
Yeah.
Like there's certain guys who are just unrivaled.
Yeah.
And as good as any movie is, you're never gonna match a David Fincher or Ridley Scott. These guys that just, even a Spielberg, and they're just guys that know how to visually.
You get throw Nolan and Michael Mann there as well. Some of the stuff they've put out visually.
Yeah.
And Nolan's not one to waste everything on CGI. He wants.
Yeah. Well, that's what I really liked about his Batman series. Gotham City was made into a city that is lifelike and works. It's a real
and yet
city.
It still looked like.
And absolutely. When I think of like great visual films, I got to think about like Avatar that came out. Of course, going back a few years now, but again, loved it visually. Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah. I love the visuals of like Asgard and the different realms of Earth and Asgard and whatnot. But what about you guys? Like what sort of visuals in movies pop out in your mind?
Oddly enough, the first one that popped into my mind wasn't action or sci-fi or fantasy or any of that. It was Coen Brothers movies.
Really?
Because the Coen Brothers have a very specific style visually. And even though they're comedies, which most people would direct pretty straightforward, two guys talking over here, show the car, show the house. But Coen Brothers don't do that. Coen Brothers like to play with the camera and try different angles and swoops. And like you watch a movie like Raising Arizona, and it's got so much inventive camera work in it for a slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
You don't expect it. So, those are guys that, I can watch 1 minute of a movie and know if the Coen Brothers directed it.
Yeah. Well, pops in my mind, you're talking to Coen Brothers, I'm thinking of Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, Tarantino.
Well, Tarantino has always done really great visuals. And it's funny because when you think of Tarantino, he's the dialogue guy. He's got the great script and the characters that have this great dialogue. And
but he always gets the right people to play these characters. I don't think I've watched movie yet, and I've been disappointed the cast.
There's certain guys that Tarantino's lucky because he's got a lot of different hats nailed.
Yeah.
But there's certain directors who are geniuses at merging music with film.
Yeah.
Sound with image. And Tarantino is one of them.
Yep.
He just knows the right music to put over a certain scene.
Yep.
And nails it every time.
I really like the visuals in Django Unchained.
Movie.
First off, again, great dialogue, between two great actors.
Yeah.
And again, it was a great premise. It was a great plot.
Yeah.
The story was tight, but seeing the Old South in the late 1800s, in Tarantino's visual style, I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
The new Dawn Planet of the Apes, the visuals on that were beautiful.
Yeah.
The rustic San Francisco looked like now, the forest and everything. It was, and that's how you think. That's how it should look.
Yeah.
It didn't look like something was too over the top and too overdrawn, trying to convince you, this is the world 20 years later. It just looked like, the world had not evolved, the plants grew up, and that's what really happened. The plantation would grow up, things would deteriorate, and I just think the visuals, that to me really stand out.
Yep.
And just a great job so far in that series
and
of films.
And the visuals and CG for those movies.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Like,
how he doesn't win the Academy Award, that's beyond me. I'm sorry. I gotta throw it out there.
Yeah.
Gotta throw it out there.
No, absolutely. And, I think for the longest time, good visual jobs were kind of left to the realm of like sci-fi, fantasy films. Obviously the visuals in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yes.
That was a benchmark for years and years.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's now, we can watch comedies, romantic comedies, that will have great visuals.
Never watched one.
Or if you've ever, when I was speaking of David Fincher, if you've ever watched a making of Zodiac, I love Zodiac.
Yes,
I find it to be a hypnotic film. 70% of Zodiac has CG in it.
Oh, really?
And most people who have watched it wouldn't even have thought there was any in it.
We talked about it the other night, and I go, really? There's CG?
Go on YouTube and type in David Fincher Zodiac visual effects. Your mind will be blown. That's how he achieved the 70s. Is he'd film on a street, just a scene of a cop coming to a scene of a crime, but all the buildings behind him are CG, the sky is CG,
Oh, okay.
the extra cars around him are CG, a car passes in front of the camera, it was CG.
Yep.
But you'd never know any of it was.
Wow.
Just brilliant stuff that there's one of the first killings in the movie is the Zodiac Killer has this mask and kills these two people that are making out in a car.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. And the visuals of just that, him killing them, it's almost all of that scene was CG.
Oh, really?
And you would never know.
Wow.
It's incredible.
You go back to Blade Runner. You gotta be awake to watch Blade Runner because if you're
Ridley Scott, like I said, Ridley Scott is a master of
and to me, that movie, the visuals, that can hold up still for me because
it does.
A little bit noir was there, everything in it,
and that's going back decades, but still, no, you're right, it is not dated.
Or I'm just talking visuals. To me, that holds up.
If you watch any other sci-fi from 1982, I guarantee you'll find stuff where it's like, well, that looks a little. You can see a matte line.
Yeah.
I've watched Blade Runner recently, and there's not a matte line. There's nothing. The visual effects are still perfect.
Yeah.
We go to visuals for the longest time. ILM was the big name, and then when Lord of the Rings came out, Weta. I never heard of Weta. Where these guys come from, all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like Lord of the Rings, it came out, and they almost like they set the new gold standard for visual effects, and now it's. They are like almost like the dominant force now. I mean, ILM has obviously picked it up as well, but and it's great, because I personally, as much as I love a good story, and I do, and as much as I love good characters, and I do, I love being able to watch a theater, watch a screen in the theater, the big screen, and just be blown away.
Oh, for sure.
By something that's on there,
Me too.
That's the whole thing for a movie. You want a movie to blow you away.
Yeah.
That's another reason I'm a big fan of Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible series.
Okay.
The visuals in those. When I went to see the last one, Ghost Protocol, which I think is still the best one of the series, and for me, in my top 5 action movies of all time, the scene where he goes out onto the Burj Khalifa tower, and I saw it in 3D in IMAX, and they had the camera hooked up to that rig that as soon as he stepped out, the camera went out with him, and it was breathtaking. I could actually feel like the vertigo.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah. So, I might even say, I know you'll probably slang for this, I could go back even to the Shaun of the Dead. Some of the visuals that they pull off in that movie.
Yeah. Edgar Wright's a great director.
Because it's a comedy, a little serious, but some of the shots these guys pull off, and...
Really, he's a very creative director. He keeps things very interesting.
Yeah.
But saying that, folks, what's not interesting is that we have to get out of here.
That is not interesting.
So, for Antonio,
Bill,
and Craig,
we're the Social Vultures. We'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.